I know I've said this is the last I'm going to say about it a few times, but I'll be honest, I can't get any piece of it from the exterior. You're not getting any piece from the interior. So let's do the math. The actual numbers. Fuck the vibes. $600,000. That's what a man named Bruce Amison took from me. Not lost, not invested poorly, took, groomed, courted, love bombed with fake returns and fake urgency until the number was $600,000. And then he was gone, and that number stayed at zero. Do you understand what $600,000 is? That's not bad math, a bad month. That's not a rough patch. That's years. That's a foundation. That's the difference between building something from stability and building it while the floor is on fire. And I have been building from that fire ever since. I did I did what you're supposed to do. I filed with IC3, the FBI's own Internet Crime Complaint Center, the place that exists on paper for exactly this. And they laughed. Just like you're laughing right now, sadistic fuck. Not literally, maybe. Maybe, but close enough that it doesn't fucking matter. Case number, form letter, avoid where accountability was supposed to be. I want you to sit with that for a second, because I had to. I did the responsible thing. I did the thing they tell you to do. Don't take justice into your own hands. Trust the system. File the report. And the system looked at $600,000 and shrugged like I'd reported a stolen fucking fight. So let's be clear about who actually pays for a $600,000 fraud when the system shrugs. He's right here, alone, still here, still busting his ass, still building, while the man who did it walks around unbothered by a government that filed my life under statistically insignificant. He gets to sleep at night. He gets to spend it, invest it, whatever he did with it. Probably cheap, expensive Russian-ass vodka, right, Bruce? Yeah, that invisible bottle just smashed on the wall. I get a case number and a permanent hole where my safety net used to be. And here's the part that should be a footnote instead of a sequel, because apparently robbing me wasn't the whole show. A man calling himself humongous has been in my inbox, my comments, in my head since 2022, defending Bruce, needling me, making sure that on top of losing $600,000, I never got to lose the noise that came with it. You'd think that there'd be a floor of fucking decency. You'd think even the internet's worst would look, this man got robbed of $600K by a pig butchering scammer and go, okay, this one's off limits. No, that's not a floor to hew. That's an opening. 3 years since before my book existed, before there was an AI slop smear campaign to slap on me because I used it on a couple hundred videos of 4,000, by the way. Yeah, not such a small, insignificant number now, is it? 3 years since before my book was even a twinkle in my eye. Before the campaign, before a man calling himself the King of Sorrow ran a counterfeit listing of my own book against me on Lulu, using a puppet named Joe Mama to do part of it. In fact, I think all three are the same person. Before any of that had a name, Hugh already had a target on my back because I was the guy who got taken for $600K and had the nerve to still be standing. Still be standing. That is my crime. That's the one. That's what none of these people can forgive. Not that I did anything wrong. I definitely didn't. Didn't break any fucking laws, that's for sure. But I refuse to lay down and die. So, follow that thread for a second because it doesn't stop being interesting. King of Sorrow is the one who approached me with a deal contingent on gutting my own work into something more palatable, more marketable, more his. contingent on me sending parts off the book that were actually mine and dressing it up as something that wasn't for his benefit on his terms. I said no. Weeks later, a counterfeit listing goes up under his name, and a wave of identical one-star reviews land on launch day, which was also my birthday. For what it's worth, all singing the same AI slop tune like it was workshopped in advance, because it probably was. You don't get that kind of message discipline from strangers who each independently hated my book, which is a statistical impossibility considering it is still at 0 sales to this day. You get that from a script. And now I've got a hint, not a confirmation, a hint, that I'm going to sit with it honestly instead of pretending it's proven. And I've mentioned it already in this video, that Humongous might not be a separate person at all, that he might be one more puppet on Joe Mama's hand, which would mean the man who's been in my inbox since 2022 defending Bruce Amison and needling me over a $600,000 fraud is the same operation that tried to strong-arm me into a book deal and then torched the launch when I refused. I don't know yet if that's true. I'm not going to sit here and swear to something I can't fully back, because I'm not interested in becoming the thing I'm angry at. A person who runs on unverified certainty and calls it truth. But if it is, if Hugh and Joe Mama and King of Sorrow are three faces wearing one mask, then this was never three separate fires. It was one arsonist, working the block for 3 years, waiting to see which building would finally go down, circling my birthday, circling my launch, circling a wound that was already $600,000 deep, looking for exactly the right moment to press on it. And that's the actual timeline, not creator drama here or internet beef, although I'm sure there's plenty of that. A man commits 6 figures of fraud. The federal government can't be bothered, and possibly, provably or not, the same network has been circling ever since, decides my book launch is the next thing worth burning to the ground. I want to be very specific about what that is. Confirmed or not, that wasn't criticism. And this isn't accountability for using a tool they don't like. That is what, and what this is not engaging with feedback. That's a kick aimed at a man who is already on the ground, thrown by someone who may be standing on every side of him at once, wearing different names, that no single blow ever looks like the whole assault. So it never looks organized enough to report. So it never looks bad enough for anyone to intervene. That's not an accident. That's completely by design. And the system built to stop this, I've already said they laughed. IC3 laughed their butt off, had a grand old time. So here's my math. Since theirs doesn't add up, I'm not required to forgive, forget, or move on gracefully for an audience that has never the fuck once asked whether I was truly okay. And I'm not talking about the driveway, are you okay? No. I'm talking about actual wellness checks. Because they certainly don't give a fuck when I'm punching myself in the face or grabbing a book and smacking myself with it. Because I swear it requires me to do some realistic shit, ridiculous shit, to get y'all to just drive my point home. I'm not required to be gracious about being robbed and then mocked for it. I'm required to keep building. That's it. That's the whole obligation. Not silence, not gratitude for being ignored by an agency with my case number and no follow-up. Just keep building in full view of every single one of them, because that's the one outcome none of them can survive. They can have their sock puppets, They can have their fake reviews and their timed campaigns and their scripted talking points. Bruce can shove that $600,000 up his caboose. He can't have the next book. He can't have the one after that, or the one I've already made. He can't have Star Set, he can't have Star Rise, and he sure as fuck doesn't get a vote on book 2. Every single thing I finish from here is built directly on top of the ground they've tried to burn, and there is nothing more insulting to an arsonist than a building that just won't stay down. $600,000 didn't stop me. A 3-year harassment campaign didn't stop me. An agency that couldn't be bothered to call back didn't stop me. You want to know what does stop me? Nothing on that list. Not one thing on that list. The only thing that can stop me is a loaded barrel placed straight to my chest and then fired until the mag is empty. So, to my serious, real ones, stay weird. Peace. And to the bad faith predators, because you guys are too pathetic to be trolls, the fuck out of my orbit!